Danny Cooper sat slouched at the sticky plastic table of Murphy's bar, eyes fixed on the blinking red light on his satellite dish calibrator. The device blinked like a warning sign, a neon heartbeat of failure that had been pounding in his ears for months now. No matter what he did, the thing refused to cooperate. The last 3 months had been a slow spiral into frustration, hopelessness, and a kind of numb acceptance. He took a long, slow sip from his beer, the foam clinging to his upper lip as he stared at the mess of wires and blinking lights, wondering if this was what rock bottom looked like. The bar smelled like stale cigarettes and broken dreams, a fitting aroma for a man who felt like he was fading into obscurity. His phone buzzed softly against the chipped wood of the table, but he ignored it, knowing it was probably another overdue bill or a reminder from the electric company. His gaze drifted back to the calibrator, where the red light blinked on stubbornly, repeating as if mocking him. He wondered if he'd ever get this thing fixed, or if it was just another sign that he'd run out of chances. That's when Jake, his younger brother, slid into the booth opposite him. Still in his mechanic's coveralls, streaked with motor oil, Jake looked like he'd just walked out of a scrapyard, and honestly, he fit right in. "You know what your problem is, Cooper," Jake said with a smirk, voice edged with dry humor. "You've given up on life." Danny took a slow drag from his beer, eyes half-lidded. "I haven't given up," he muttered, voice flat. "I'm just strategically repositioning." Jake snorted, leaning forward on the table, arms crossed. "Repositioning into unemployment, you mean? The satellite repair industry's dead in the water, and you know it." Danny waved vaguely at the TV mounted above the bar, a static image of a news anchor droning on about government budget cuts and layoffs. "It's not personal," he said softly, almost to himself. "Just a downturn." Jake shook his head, a grin tugging at the corner of his mouth. "Remember when you quit college because the parking lot was too crowded? That was a legitimate concern." "Huh? You were 26. Danny finally looked at him, a flicker of irritation crossing his face. "Yeah, well, some things don't change," he said, voice tight. "Like this." He gestured at the calibrator, the blinking red light, now seeming to pulse like a warning drum. His phone buzzed again, louder this time. Danny glanced at it, another overdue notice. He didn't bother to answer. Instead, he took another long sip, feeling the bitter burn of the beer slide down his throat. The plastic table was streaked with sweat rings from his sweating hands. Everything felt like it was falling apart. His job, his pride, maybe even his future. Jake leaned in, lowering his voice, eyes serious but sympathetic. "Look, I get it," he said. "Dad used to say you'd figure it out eventually. But, Danny, even he's running out of time." Danny's jaw clenched. His eyes flicked away, staring at the space in front of him. Most of Dad's advice had turned out to be wrong, or at least not the right fit anymore. The bar's dim lighting reflected the dull ache inside him. A woman in her 50s, with arms like tree trunks and an apron that looked like it had seen better days, approached their table, slapping a clipboard down with a heavy hand. She looked between the two brothers. "You boys signing up for the lottery?" "What lottery?" Danny asked, eyebrows raised. "NASA's looking for volunteers for some space project," she said, voice matter of fact. "Free entry. $100,000. Might be your lucky break." Jake's eyes lit up. "I'm in," he said quickly, grabbing the pen. "What's the worst that could happen?" Danny hesitated, then shrugged and scribbled his name, address, and a few preferences. The usual cynicism. He chuckled bitterly as he signed his name, the ink drying on the page, knowing deep down it was probably a waste of time. But what else was there? Sitting here, drinking away his problems, wasn't fixing anything. He watched the TV again, the news, the blinking lights, the empty promises. The bar's quiet hum seemed to echo the silence inside him. He took another sip, feeling the bitter taste settle on his tongue, and wondered if this was the bottom, or just the start of something worse. 2 days later, Danny was abruptly awakened by the relentless hum of engines outside his trailer. His eyes fluttered open, and he sat bolt upright, heart pounding. Through the thin curtains, he could see the unmistakable silhouettes of 3 black SUVs. Their sleek, intimidating shapes parked just outside. Men in dark suits moved methodically around the vehicles, checking tablets, speaking into earpieces, their presence turning the quiet desert landscape into a scene straight out of a covert operation. His stomach twisted into knots. He scrambled out of bed, barefoot, and hurried to the window, pressing his face against the cracked glass. His breath fogged the surface as he watched the scene unfold with growing suspicion. Who were they? What the hell was going on? His mind raced. The last few months had been a blur of bad luck. Missed payments, broken equipment, dead-end jobs. And now this? It felt like he'd stepped into some kind of nightmare. He fumbled with his jeans, pulling them on hurriedly, knowing he didn't have much time. His hands trembled as he grabbed his wrinkled shirt, slipping into it with a shaky breath. Just then, there was a polite but firm knock at his door. His pulse quickened. Opening it cautiously, he found a woman in her 40s, sharply dressed, with steel-gray hair pulled back into a tight bun. Her face was smooth but stern, and her eyes held a strange mixture of professionalism and something else, maybe eagerness. "Mr. Cooper," she said, voice smooth but commanding, "I am Director Sarah Chun, NASA's Advanced Projects Division. Congratulations." Danny's brow furrowed. "On what?" He managed, voice hoarse. "You've been selected for the Elsirian Genetic Restoration Project. We need to leave immediately." Her words hit him like a punch to the gut. He blinked, his mind scrambling to catch up. "What? Wait, what?" he stammered, stepping back. "I didn't sign up for any of that. I just filled out a form, just for the hell of it." His voice cracked, disbelief creeping in. "DNA analysis? Psychological profiling? Did you get my DNA from the pen I used at Murphy's?" She nodded, unfazed. The pen contained microscopic sampling technology. "It's cutting edge. You signed a binding agreement. I want to see that." Danny cut her off, voice rising. "I want to read the fine print. I don't remember signing up for some space mission that involves my DNA." Her smile was polite but firm. "We're ready to go now. You'll have plenty of time during the drive." He looked back at his trailer, at the disorganized chaos of wires, broken satellite dishes, and the disconnection notice taped to the door. Everything he'd worked for, everything he'd lost, all felt like it was crashing down in this moment. Maybe it was desperation, or maybe just curiosity, but he finally nodded. "All right," he said, voice barely above a whisper. "Let's do this." The SUV's doors opened with a hiss, and the cool, sterile air inside was a stark contrast to the dusty desert outside. As he climbed into the vehicle, the door shutting behind him with a definitive thud, he couldn't help but wonder what was waiting for him on the other side. Who were these people? And what exactly had he signed up for? The interior was cold, clinical, filled with blinking monitors and sterile silence. Director Chun sat across from him, reading from a sleek tablet. Outside the window, the endless desert stretched on, unbroken, timeless. The landscape felt like a symbol of his stagnation, vast, empty, and somehow full of unspoken promises. "So," Danny finally asked, trying to mask his nervousness, "what's this project really about?" She looked up, her expression unreadable. "Earth was contacted 6 months ago by Elsiria, a planet suffering environmental collapse and genetic bottlenecking," she explained calmly. "They need compatible partners to revive their species. Your DNA profile was a near-perfect match." He felt a cold sweat break out on his forehead. "Aliens? You're serious?" "Yes," she said simply. "The process involves emotional synchronization, genetic compatibility, and," she paused, "reproductive activity. All voluntary, of course." His stomach churned. Reproductive activity? With aliens? This was insane. "Reproductive biology," she added softly, "is part of the process. It involves emotional bonds, attraction, trust, and very intense dating." He looked away, swallowing hard. "And if I refuse?" Her gaze was steady. "Your signature on the agreement binds you. We need to leave now." The vehicle lurched forward, the desert giving way to a sprawling complex that looked more like a high-tech research station than a spaceport. White buildings shimmered under the relentless sun, humming machinery filling the air with a faint, persistent drone. Danny's mind was spinning. His entire life had been a series of bad choices, but this was something else entirely. As the convoy slowed to a stop and the doors opened, Danny hesitated for a moment. The future waiting inside these walls was uncertain, strange, and terrifying, but part of him felt a flicker of curiosity, barely perceptible but undeniably there. Whatever this was, it was about to change everything. Inside the sterile, blindingly bright lab that looked more like a cross between a spaceship and a high-tech medical facility, Danny felt a strange mix of awe and dread. The walls shimmered with panels of blinking lights, and the air was thick with the scent of antiseptic and something else, an undercurrent of anticipation or maybe anxiety. They led him down a corridor lined with glass chambers, each one humming softly with the energy of unknown technology. As he followed the crew, he couldn't shake the feeling that he'd just stepped into a world beyond anything he'd ever known. Dr. Chun, the woman from before, was now walking beside him, her heels clicking sharply on the polished floor. She kept her gaze fixed ahead, but her voice was calm, almost soothing. "You're about to undergo a series of procedures, Mr. Cooper. This is all to prepare your body and mind for the genetic synchronization with Elsirian DNA. It's a delicate process, but it's essential for compatibility." Danny looked around, trying to process her words. Compatibility for what? Reproduction? You're serious about that? His voice wavered, part disbelief, part curiosity. She nodded, unshaken. Yes, the process involved emotional and biological bonding. It's designed to foster trust and cooperation with your extraterrestrial partner. Think of it as a very advanced form of relationship building on a genetic level. He snorted softly, a bitter laugh escaping him. Great. So I'm basically signing up for some aliens version of a dating app with a biological twist. Just my luck. Dr. Chin shot him a quick, knowing smile. It's more complicated than that, but I understand your skepticism. The Elsirians have been monitoring Earth's environmental decline. They believe this collaboration could be their salvation, and yours too, in a way. Danny's stomach twisted. Salvation? Or just another gamble with his life? He looked at the chamber ahead, its transparent door glowing faintly with a soft blue light. And what happens if I refuse? If I back out now? Her expression softened slightly. That's your choice, but I must warn you. Refusal could have severe consequences for your future and your family back home. Once inside, the procedure is irreversible. He took a deep breath, feeling the weight of the decision pressing down on him. The truth was, he was tired of feeling like a pawn in everyone else's game. Maybe this was his shot at something different, something beyond the endless cycle of bad luck and dead-end jobs. Or maybe it was just the beginning of something far worse. As she finally gestured toward the chamber, Danny hesitated. His hand hovered over the door, and he looked back at her, trying to gauge whether she was sincere or just another part of the machine that was about to swallow him whole. "All right," he said, voice steady despite the chaos inside him. "Let's do it. Whatever it is." The door hissed open, revealing a sterile interior equipped with strange devices and a reclining seat that looked more like a medical throne. The room was silent, except for the soft hum of machinery. Danny stepped inside, feeling a strange mixture of fear and curiosity. He sat down, and as the chamber sealed him in, he wondered what was waiting for him on the other side. Was this truly about survival, or was it something else entirely? As the procedure began, he closed his eyes, trying to brace himself for what was to come. Somewhere deep inside, a voice whispered that this was only the beginning, an uncharted journey into the unknown, where the lines between human and alien, science and destiny blurred into a strange new reality. Inside the chamber, Danny felt a strange sensation radiating through his body, like 1,000 tiny needles prickling beneath his skin, yet oddly calming at the same time. The soft hum of machinery seemed to sync with his heartbeat, creating a strange rhythm he couldn't quite understand. His eyes fluttered closed, and for a moment, everything else faded away. The last thing he remembered was the sterile glow of the chamber, then a sudden rush of images, feelings, and voices flooding his mind in a kaleidoscope of sensations he couldn't control. It was as if he was falling into a dream, but it wasn't his own. Instead, he found himself immersed in a swirling landscape of alien skies, colors he'd never seen, shapes that defied earthly logic. The sensation was both terrifying and mesmerizing. Then, suddenly, a voice, calm, soothing, yet filled with authority, echoed through his mind. "You are now connected, Danny. Trust this process. It is the only way." He gasped, eyes snapping open. The chamber's interior blurred for a moment before coming into focus. Dr. Chen's face appeared above him, her expression a mixture of relief and anticipation. "Are you okay?" she asked, voice gentle but urgent. Danny blinked rapidly, trying to clear his head. "Yeah, I think so. What was that?" She nodded knowingly. That was the initial phase of the neural synchronization. Your mind is now temporarily linked with the Elsirian consciousness, an experience designed to foster understanding and emotional bonding. It's intense, but necessary for the next steps. He sat up slowly, still feeling oddly disoriented. "You mean I just connected with some alien mind? Like right now?" "Exactly," she replied with a small smile. "You've opened a channel, almost like a mental handshake. It's how we ensure compatibility and trust. The more you allow yourself to experience, the stronger your bond will become." Danny rubbed his temples. "That's weird. I felt like I was floating through space, seeing things I can't even describe. It was like I was inside a dream, but I could still hear you talking." "Good. That means it's working," Chen said softly. "This process can be overwhelming. Your brain is adjusting to a new level of perception, but it's a crucial step toward the integration with your Elsirian partner." He looked at her skeptically. "And what happens next? Do I get to meet this alien? Or is this just some kind of mind meld thing?" She chuckled lightly. "You'll meet them soon enough. The next stage involves physical and emotional integration. Think of it as a deepening of your connection. It's designed to align your biological and emotional states for optimal compatibility. It's not just about genetics. It's about trust, empathy, and shared purpose." Danny's brow furrowed. "Shared purpose, huh? Sounds like I'm signing up for an interstellar marriage or something." She smiled, a touch of warmth in her eyes. "Not quite. It's more like a partnership, an alliance. The Elsirians have been watching us for some time. They believe this union could save both our worlds. But it's also a leap of faith for you, Danny. You're risking a lot, and I won't pretend it's easy." He looked away, processing her words. His mind was still swirling from the experience. Images of alien landscapes, strange emotions, and that voice urging him to trust. His life had been a series of hard knocks, but this was something completely beyond his understanding. Still, part of him felt strangely hopeful, like maybe, just maybe, this was his chance to be part of something bigger than himself. "All right," he finally said, voice steadier than before. "What's next?" "I'm ready for whatever comes next." Dr. Chen nodded approvingly. "Good. The next step will be the physical and emotional bonding session. You'll be guided through it, and I'll be here to support you every step of the way. Remember, Danny, this is about trust in yourself and the process. We're about to take a giant leap into the unknown, but I promise it's for something extraordinary." As the chamber prepared to reopen for the next phase, Danny took a deep breath. His heart pounded fiercely in his chest, but beneath the fear was a flicker of curiosity, an unshakable desire to see where this journey would lead. Whatever lay ahead, he knew his life was about to change forever. Inside the chamber again, Danny felt the familiar hum of machinery surround him. But this time, there was a different energy, more intense, almost electric. The room was dimmer, lit by soft, pulsating lights that seemed to breathe with the rhythm of his heartbeat. The moment was approaching, and he could feel a strange mixture of anticipation and trepidation curling in his stomach. The door hissed open, and Dr. Chen stepped inside, her face calm, but with a glint of excitement in her eyes. "Are you ready, Danny?" she asked softly, her voice reassuring but layered with gravity. He took a deep breath, trying to steady himself. "As ready as I'll ever be. So what's next? I've already connected with the alien mind, right?" She nodded. "Yes, that was just the beginning. Now, we move into the emotional and physical integration phase. This will deepen your bond on a biological level, on a spiritual level, and on a mental one. It's the final step before you're truly unified." Danny looked skeptical. "Sounds like some kind of interstellar marriage, doesn't it? Or am I just getting hitched to an alien now?" Chen chuckled softly. "Not quite. Think of it more like a deep partnership. You're not marrying anyone, you're four." She placed a reassuring hand on his shoulder. "That's normal. It's a lot to take in. We're here to guide you through every step. You're stronger than you think, Danny. This isn't just about science. It's about trust, courage, and opening yourself up to something entirely new." With a deep breath, Danny nodded. "Okay, let's do it. I want to see where this goes." The chamber's interior shifted as the door sealed shut once more. The soft hum grew louder, and the lights dimmed further, casting an almost hypnotic glow. As the neural pathways activated, Danny felt a warm wave wash over him, like a gentle tide rising within his mind. Images flooded in, visions of alien worlds, strange landscapes, and flashes of emotion that weren't entirely his own. He sensed the presence of another consciousness, not just an alien, but a being trying to reach out, trying to connect on a level deeper than words. He heard the voice again, calm and reassuring. "Let go, Danny. Trust us. Feel what they feel. Embrace the connection." Tears prickled at the corners of his eyes, tears he didn't understand, tears born from the overwhelming beauty and fear of the unknown. His mind stretched beyond his limits, opening a channel that felt both fragile and unbreakable. Somewhere in that vast, swirling space of sensations, he realized this was more than just a procedure. It was a leap into a future he could barely comprehend but desperately wanted to understand. As the experience intensified, he clung to the hope that this bond might be the key to something extraordinary, something that could change everything for him and the world beyond. The chamber's lights flickered softly as Danny's senses were flooded with a kaleidoscope of images, emotions, and sensations. It was as if he had been thrown into the heart of a cosmic storm, colors swirling, sounds echoing in his mind, and feelings so intense they threatened to overwhelm him. Yet, amidst the chaos, a strange sense of calm began to settle, like the eye of a hurricane. Suddenly, he felt a gentle pressure, almost like a hand guiding him, and a voice, warm and resonant, whispered in his mind. "Relax, Danny," it said. "You are safe. Let the connection flow. Trust us." He struggled to find his footing, his breath catching in his throat. "Whoa," he muttered aloud, voice trembling. This is something else. I feel like I'm floating in space, but also like I'm sinking into something deep and old." Dr. Chen's voice came through faintly, reassuring. "That's perfectly normal. Your mind is opening up, expanding beyond what you thought possible. The bond between you and the Elsirian is strengthening. Just breathe. Let go of control. Feel what they're feeling." He blinked rapidly, trying to focus through the swirling chaos. "It's like I can see everything and nothing at once," he said, voice trembling with awe. "I can feel their thoughts, their fears, hopes, dreams. It's like I'm inside their world, but I don't understand most of it." "That's the beauty of it," Chen replied softly. "You're experiencing their essence. You're learning to see through their eyes, to understand their soul. It's a gift and a leap of faith. The more you surrender, the deeper the connection becomes." Danny's eyes fluttered closed for a moment as a new wave of emotion washed over him. Longings, joy, pain, and something he couldn't quite identify. It was as if the alien consciousness was reaching out, trying to communicate not with words, but with pure feeling. A warmth spread through him, and suddenly, he was no longer alone in his mind. He could feel their presence, like a gentle but persistent ripple in his consciousness, inviting him closer. "Wow," he whispered, voice thick with emotion. "It's like they're trying to tell me something. Like a secret, but I can't quite catch it." "You're doing beautifully," Chen encouraged. "This is the heart of the process, trusting your instincts, opening up your emotions. Keep going. You're almost there." He exhaled slowly, trying to steady himself. "It's kind of like opening a door I didn't know was there, isn't it?" he said with a shaky laugh. "And now I'm standing in a whole new world. I can feel their fears, their hopes, and I think I can even feel their love. It's so raw, so real." "Exactly," Chen replied with a gentle smile in her voice. "This is what true connection feels like. It's not just mental, it's emotional, spiritual. You're bridging worlds, Danny, and the more honest you are, the stronger that bridge becomes." He hesitated, then nodded, a small spark of determination igniting within him. "Okay, I get it. I feel it. I think I'm ready to take the next step, whatever that is." The chamber's hum grew softer as the connection deepened. Danny felt a flicker of something new, a stirring of hope and purpose. He sensed that the alien consciousness was now more than just a distant echo. It was becoming part of him, reshaping his understanding of himself and the universe. His heart pounded with a mixture of fear and excitement, knowing that he was teetering on the brink of something extraordinary, something that could change everything. In that moment, he realized that this wasn't just about science or alien contact. It was about trust, about daring to believe in the impossible. And as the connection sustained, he felt an almost childlike wonder blooming inside him, eager to see what awaited on the other side of this profound cosmic journey. In the silence that followed the deep connection, Danny slowly opened his eyes, blinking against the dim glow of the chamber's ambient lights. His chest rose and fell heavily, as if he had just surfaced from a vast ocean of emotion and consciousness. The intensity of the experience lingered in his mind, the rush of feelings, the overwhelming sense of unity, and the strange, beautiful knowledge that he was forever changed. For a moment, he remained still, trying to process what had just happened, the weight of it pressing down on him with both awe and exhaustion. Dr. Chen watched him carefully, a soft smile touching her lips. "Well, Danny, how do you feel?" she asked gently, her voice warm and full of reassurance. He took a shaky breath and managed a small, trembling smile. "Like I crossed into something I didn't even know existed. It's like I've caught a glimpse of the universe's deepest secret, and it's beautiful and terrifying all at once." She nodded knowingly. "That's exactly what this is about. You've made a profound connection, not just with the alien consciousness, but with yourself as well. It's a journey of discovery, one that's just begun." He looked up at her, eyes wide. "You mean this isn't the end? This is only the beginning." "Exactly," she said softly. "You've opened a door, one that will forever change how you see the world, the universe, and the beings within it. But now you have to decide what to do with this new understanding." Danny looked away, his mind racing. "It's overwhelming, honestly. I feel like I've seen the universe through a different lens, like I'm holding a piece of something so vast, so infinite, I might collapse under it." Chen placed a steadying hand on his shoulder. "That's natural." The connection was intense because it was real, deep, genuine, and unfiltered. "But you're stronger than you think. This is about integrating what you've learned into your life, your purpose. We've only scratched the surface." He hesitated, then nodded slowly. "Yeah, I get it. I feel like I've been given a gift, and maybe a responsibility too. If I can understand them, if I can help bridge this gap, maybe I can do something good." Her eyes twinkled with pride. "That's the spirit. Remember, Danny, this isn't just about you or the alien. It's about the future of understanding, about breaking barriers and forging once impossible connections. You've taken the first step, and I believe there are incredible things ahead for you. He looked down at his hands, then back at her, a newfound determination flickering in his eyes. So what now? Do I just go back to my life and pretend none of this happened? Or is there more I should do? Chin smiled softly, a hint of mischief in her voice. Well, Danny, I think the real work begins now. You've unlocked something extraordinary. Use this experience. Let it guide you. The universe is full of mysteries, and now you're one of the few who truly understand that they're just waiting to be discovered. The choice is yours. Stay open, stay curious, and never forget what you felt here today. A flicker of excitement ignited inside him. Honestly, I don't think I can just go back to being the same guy. Not after all this. I want to see where this leads, what we're capable of when we open ourselves up to the unknown. Chin nodded approvingly. Good. That's the spirit of explorers, courageous, curious, unafraid to step into the darkness because they know that's where the light is born. As the chamber's lights dimmed further and the hum of the machinery softened, Danny felt a strange sense of peace settle over him. He knew his life was forever changed. An unbreakable bond had been forged between him and the alien consciousness, a connection that would ripple through his future in ways he could barely comprehend. And deep inside, he understood that this was merely the beginning of a new chapter, one filled with endless possibilities, waiting patiently just beyond the horizon. Forming a trusting alliance, a connection that will help both species understand each other better. He rolled his eyes, but couldn't hide the flicker of curiosity. And what do I have to do? Just sit here and meditate until I feel something? Not exactly. This process involves guided emotional synchronization. You'll be encouraged to open your heart, to let go of doubts and fears. We'll be using a combination of neural stimulation and emotional cues to help you feel what they feel, to see the world through their eyes, without losing yourself. Danny's voice wavered a little. That sounds pretty intense. So I'll be what? Sharing my feelings with an alien? That's a new one. Dr. Chin smiled. It's natural to feel that way. But trust me, the more honest you are, the stronger your connection will become. Think of it as building a bridge. Every honest emotion, every shared thought, makes the bridge sturdier. He looked at her, searching her face for reassurance. And if I get overwhelmed? Or if I just can't do it?